Well, a week has passed since Yemen's Ali Abdullah Saleh arrived in the U.S. for what is being described as a medical visit. The U.S. has imposed a media blackout on his visit. Saleh was briefly seen outside a luxury hotel in New York on Sunday. A protest against his presence got heated when protesters saw him leave the building. The demonstrators want him prosecuted for the killings of anti-regime protesters in Yemen. Yemenis have held mass rallies calling for him to return to Yemen and be prosecuted. From Washington, I'm joined by Ali Al-Ahmed, Director of IGA. Welcome to the program, sir. Mr. Ahmed, we know that Ali Abdullah Saleh is in the US on claims of medical treatment, but should there be a news blackout on him?
I don't think there should be a news boycott. The U.S. government obviously is extremely embarrassed. At the same time, it is pushing for a resolution to remove the regime in Syria for cracking down on protesters. It is protecting the dictator of Yemen, who has killed more people than those killed in Syria. So this is really embarrassing for the U.S. government, and the Syrian representative of the United Nations did not take advantage of that. I was surprised. However, this is not new. This has been always the United States policy. In fact, the United States has more or provided shelter to more criminals who have killed people, our former members of governments who have killed people, than any other country in the world. So it's the #1 destination for dictators and their henchmen.
I mean, well, how much of this blackout is sponsored by the U.S. administration, do you think?
Well, the U.S. government has always had an influence over the media in the United States in certain areas, especially when it comes to foreign policy, and that is very clear. It doesn't mean that every station is going to abide by that, but they do make it difficult for them. For example, they were hiding his whereabouts. The United States government has provided Ali Abdullah Saleh with full diplomatic immunity and treats him like a president. So his bodyguards are provided by the Secret Service, and his motorcade is protected by the United States government and taxpayers. He's staying in the Ritz-Carlton in New York, where the protest broke earlier today, and a shoe was thrown his direction under the protection of the United States government. Some people were arrested, and possibly, and this is one of the ironic things, possibly those people who have thrown the shoes will be prosecuted under the United States law for criminal charges.
I mean, recently there was a security conference held in the German city of Munich, and the main focus there was how to deal with Syria. I mean, but there was no mention of Yemen or Bahrain, despite the revolutions going on there.
Well, let's be honest. These situations in the Middle East, the Western countries support only the efforts that will benefit them. In Bahrain and Yemen, these are deliberately omitted. You saw Obama's speech on the State of the Union a couple of weeks ago, and he did not allude to Bahrain nor to Yemen, despite the fact the situation there is probably worse in terms of percentage and people who have been killed. Yet this shows you really where the policy in the United States of America is, that it's not about human rights, it's not about democracy, it's about geopolitical weight. And the United States is targeting Syria because Syria really has an independent policy of the United States. That's why they want to subjugate Syria under this regime or another regime. That is the goal of the United States and its Western allies, and of course Arab allies, is to subjugate Syria to the Western influence.
And it's interesting that only part of the GCC agreement on Yemen concerning Ali Abdullah Saleh has been implemented, and that's the immunity given to Saleh. Why hasn't the rest of the agreement been implemented, do you think?
Well, from the get-go, this agreement or this GCC plan was aimed at trying to undermine the revolution, is to cut it off the news, remove it from the news coverage, and try to divide the revolution and to stop the change of regime. And so far they have succeeded in doing so. The regime of Ali Abdullah Saleh remains, despite the fact that Ali Abdullah Saleh is not in Yemen. He is still the president of Yemen, and his people are in control of the situation in Yemen with the help of the United States and GCC countries, especially Saudi Arabia.
All right, we'll leave it there for the time being. Many thanks to Ali Al-Ahmed, IGA Director from Washington. Thanks for your time there.